Hi there everyone, this is Dan Dix here reporting for Press for Truth, coming at you today here in Moncton, New Brunswick. We are at the scene of the crime where just a couple of days ago the shooter Justin Bork had taken the lives of 3 RCMP officers. So we've come down to Moncton, New Brunswick here, and just as I arrived we got word just about an hour ago at this point that the shooter has been arrested and detained and is now in custody. 1 hour ago, and once again we're here in Moncton, New Brunswick at the scene of the crime. You can see a lot of the mainstream media outlets are still set up here, and I've spoken with a couple of the locals already who have informed me that they came all the way down here to the crime scene as soon as they caught word that the shooter was caught, just to give their condolences and their congratulations to the police force. Word has just come in about 45 minutes ago that they've caught the shooter. What are your thoughts about how this all began? When did you first hear about the whole incident in general?
Well, I heard about it last night. I was just getting home from work, and one of my friends texted me and just told me to go on Twitter right away, and we seen it. And then it just seems super surreal. I mean, it doesn't happen around here at all. So, and then especially when you hear cops getting shot, I mean, it's terrible. So scary.
Yeah, things have probably been kind of spooky around here. I've seen some of the pictures with big tanks and a lot of
yeah, police everywhere. There's like 300 of them.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was from everywhere. PI, St. John, everywhere.
Oh, they came in from other jurisdictions?
Here too, but they just came for backup and help.
What's the security been like? I've heard that people are not allowed to leave their homes.
Yeah. There was a huge area sanctioned off for. It was voluntarily, but they were asked not to for their own safety. I know that. Right. I know myself, I was out of it, but even we were all making sure we were doing the precautions. We were keeping our doors locked, lights on outside.
People are willing to listen. They were doing whatever the authority told them to.
I know myself, I've seen his Facebook pages and stuff, and they're extreme, like pro gun rights and all anti anything
authority.
Any authority, yeah. That's the word.
And what are your views on the gun rights in general? Some people are wondering about if people should be able to defend themselves against a lone crazy nut with a gun if they were armed with guns. Do you think people should be able to have guns around here in Moncton?
Now, I do realize where people come from that. I mean, it's always a big deal in the States too, but I don't know. For the most part, it's worked for us in Canada, where we have pretty good gun regulations as far as I know, and I have no idea where he got the guns he had, because as far as I know they were like military grade guns. So.
And he seemed pretty good with them. He seemed to know what he was doing. Facebook wall, just all about guns and like gun rights and like it was bad.
And what brought you guys down here tonight?
Just actually wanted to come and say thanks to the cops. I mean, they did a fantastic job, and they're the real heroes in all of this. So. Yeah. And I mean, I know. Well, I can't say I know what it's like, but I'm sure that the 3 that did pass away, I'm sure they were all friends, and that's got to be a terrible feeling. So. Yeah.
And now it is incredibly important to be very weary of what sorts of solutions that will be called for as a result of this. We know that the media will often try to demonize the idea of having a gun to protect yourself. But if we can judge from what these types of mainstream media outlets have suggested in the past, certainly I don't know if they're going to be looking into the history of why somebody like this becomes so violent, and whether or not that people like this are on prescription drugs that could lead to this type of behavior. There are a whole number of things, and it's often a whole factor of things. It's not just any one thing, but we have no doubt that the mainstream media will try to demonize the Patriot movement, who have a very legitimate concern with authority abusing their power, and with authority abusing their control, and with using these types of events as excuses to push forth their own agendas. And we know that there has been an agenda taking place all over the world to disarm the world. The United Nations has even suggested a global gun ban, because an armed citizenry is hard to defeat, and I think in America anyways, the Second Amendment could be the one and only stumbling block that is left in the way for them to be able to completely destroy the Constitution. And it's kind of hard to do that when there are actually more guns in America than there are Americans. Now obviously it's not quite the same here in Canada, but Canadians also, I feel, should have the right to protect themselves and their families if they choose to do so. I've just been informed that there will be a press conference being held tomorrow morning, which I will be in attendance at, and hopefully I'll be able to get some interviews with some of the locals. It is 3 a.m. Here in the morning here in Moncton, so it's difficult to get people to talk to right now. As you can see, it's raining out, and it's kind of cold and rainy and 3 o'clock in the morning here at the crime scene. However, I will be attending the press conference in the morning, and I'll update you guys as best as I can. So it is now 8 a.m. and we're out front of Crown Plaza here in Moncton, New Brunswick, where the police just finished up with their press conference. I managed to speak with one of the RCMP officers who was suggesting that this is all about the anti-gun, anti-authority, anti-police, anti-government conspiracy theory type people, and I managed to ask him what his state of mind was upon his capture and whether or not he was on any kind of psychotropic drugs.
One of the things that I heard from media from away over the last 24 hours is they can't believe how the community locked down and shut down. That was so important to allow, safety of everyone, of families, very importantly, but most importantly, safety of our police officers when they were doing their work and allowing them to complete the job that they had to do.
Where do we go from here? What's the next steps moving forward with the suspect?
Well, the next steps moving forward is obviously now we've gone from lockdown to lockup. He's detained. He will appear, I would suspect, very soon to make his first appearance before court to make an election and plea. Then dates are set for the court hearings. I'm doubtful that he would be released because of the security risks, and the wheels of justice will start moving. I suspect that he'll retain counsel, or there'll be counsel appointed, and the prosecution moves on. Was there any indication as to his state of mind when he was captured? Did we know if there was any involvement with any kind of psychotropic drugs or prescription drugs or anything? I don't have that information. I mean, I know that they've determined subsequently that he was on some sort of a group called Free Man, which is, I guess, an anti-gun control, anti-authority type of an organization. But the indications are that he didn't have a very, very close affiliation with this group. So, as I was saying previously, this individual is really off the radar, and that's almost scarier than knowing about it. So fear of the unknown is always a concern. How do you take action to protect yourself?
So the RCMP, along with the media here in Moncton, have been focusing on the anti-gun, anti-government angle, as well as the fact that Justin Bourque was a gun enthusiast. The question I keep hearing come up is whether or not he should have been able to obtain any of these weapons. Meanwhile, the questions we should be focusing on are the psyche of the individual. How does somebody become so violent in society? Was he on psychotropic drugs? How do we get to the bottom of this so it does not happen again? Just as there is no one cause of mass shootings, there is also not one answer. A combination of living in a culture of violence, which promotes antisocial behavior, the destruction of traditional family and moral values, and added stresses of life have created the perfect storm for a culture of children who may become mentally ill or seek violent antisocial outlets such as murder. Only through a thorough examination of the zeitgeist of contributing issues in our culture can we better understand the balance of public safety and constitutional rights.